I'm on mute. Hey there, Elena. How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. The audio is a little garbled. I don't know if it's on.
How you doing?
I don't know if it's on my side or your side.
It might be my side.
Yeah, that sounds better. All right. Let's see here. Supposed to be some more people joining the day, but we'll see who hops on here. Oh, interesting. Did you need a passcode to get on here?
No, I did not.
Got some other people saying that they that they're needing a passcode to log in. Okay. All right. So how has it been going with that seller that you are working with right now? Hey, Izzy.
Not. Yeah.
What's up?
I'm just having trouble getting a single deal. I haven't gotten one deal yet, even though there's a lot of interested people. There's a lot of sellers who are asking for way high amounts, like way over even what is listed on, the comps and even what, Redfin says their house is approximately worth and so on and so forth. I don't know what to do with that. Like, I think everybody is delusional.
Yeah, there's a lot of delusional people right now. Izzy, you didn't need a passcode to get in, did you?
No, I didn't. I got that VIP. It's funny, man. I'm in Florida, so I just got out of like a 2-hour Zoom for multifamily, and it was dragging, man. And I'm super excited to be on here, bro. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah. Are you at the Collective Genius?
No, Rob. I just moved here, man. I'm permanently.
Right. I remember you were saying that at the a few weeks.
I've got a goal to purchase 1,000 multifamily units here in South Florida this year. So that's why I flew here, and I'm just like, I got to be there.
That's awesome. How's it been going so far?
It's going great, man. I'm in the learning stage right now. I'm gonna see if I can find some time to walk some properties later today, but lots of learning right now.
Awesome. So, Lena, like, you're still working, talking to sellers having unrealistic expectations. It sounds like pretty much what a lot of other people are experiencing right now.
Okay.
So you're not definitely not alone in that.
Can I just say something to her?
Yeah, absolutely.
How long have you been trying to get in touch with these sellers, or how long have you been doing this for now?
Just started for a few months now.
Okay. How many months would you say it's been?
At least 6.
Okay, it is 100 times easier right now than it was 6 months prior to the 6 months that you started.
Okay.
So if you think it's tough right now, you wouldn't. You don't want to go back to what it was like before the last 6 months, just because sellers are more understanding right now than they were, prior to the market transitioning to where we currently stand at right now.
So you're talking about like July or August of last year?
Yeah. I would definitely say around that time.
Yeah.
Let me share a real quick story with you. Wow, it's just the 3 of us on here. I invited so many people.
I have somebody else trying to get on, but he's saying it's asking him for a passcode, and so I don't know. And this is not streaming on Facebook Live either, so there's something going on with the Zoom call.
Yeah.
So
So one thing that I was going to tell you is it Elena? Is that how you say your name? She still did we lose her?
she's on mute. But anyway, it looks like she's there, but
Oh, I'm here. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I was talking to myself for the last minute.
That's
Oh my
okay. I
gosh.
think we've all done that. But one of the things I was just going to share a personal story with you because why it's so important that when you like get hung up on or you just this is I don't think a lot of people know, but wholesaling is like Rob's the man. But wholesaling is very, 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 very freaking hard. Anything where you have the opportunity to make a lot of money is going to be very hard. But if you can stick with it, you know, the reward is there. But I just want to share a story. I started as a wholesaler 4 years ago, graduated up that ladder. I'm probably one of like the only people that even Rob would know that started as a wholesaler and you know, they're still in the business, but we've graduated. But 4 years ago, there's this lady, she has a house in Federal Way. I won't give much more information than that. But I probably called her like 50 times. And I probably like, you know, back in the day when I was prospecting very heavy, I probably called her like once every other week and then followed with like voicemails and text messages. So my focus is on other things now. But just like 2 days ago, she called me and I had her saved in my contacts. She's one of the only sellers that I have saved in my contacts because I really wanted to buy her house. But I didn't write like any more information. So I was looking at the contact. I was like, who is this? So I answer and she's like, hey, this is such and such. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't remember you. And so she starts telling me the story. And then I remembered her and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, the first thing I asked her was, how's your dad? You know, because I got into the story as far as why the house was the way it was. And we're just having a conversation. And she's like, hey, I want you to buy my house. Like, are you still buying houses? Are you interested in buying houses? Right now, I'm not on the market to buy a house, but it just landed on my lap. It's a great opportunity. So I'm going to move forward with it. But just know that that deal took me like 4 years of phone calls and text messages. You know, it didn't happen overnight. And a lot of my deals have been like that, where it's just been many, many years of follow-up. And it just kind of lands on my lap.
Yeah, that's like, most of your best deals probably are going to come with follow-up, right? You're not going to get something, the first time you talk to somebody. It might happen, like every once in a while, you could get a deal. First time you talk to them, they're just super motivated. They like you and they're just ready to get rid of their property. But a lot of times it comes with building rapport with the sellers. And then when the time comes and they're ready to sell, they'll give you a call. So persistence and consistency definitely will pay off in the long run for sure. So
I've got a question for you, Rob. Am I able to ask my question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What are you doing right now in this new market?
From the acquisition side or the dispo side?
I guess either one. As far as it's not the same as it was like we just said like 6-7 months ago. So I'm just curious as to what you're doing right now with these new times.
Yeah, so the things are definitely better than they were back in July. Kind of like you said, sellers' expectations are starting to readjust at this point, whereas they were just in disbelief. And a lot of sellers even right now are still in disbelief about what is happening, but some of them are like finally coming to some sense of reality. But I'm actually not doing a whole lot differently. I am just doing the same thing that I have been doing Like, and I think this is the other key, is just being like consistent with what you do. Like, even if you know it works, even when it seems like it's not working, if you continue to do it, like eventually it's gonna pay off, right? And pushing out 30 deals and getting none of them sold, over like a 2-month period in July and August, it kind of gave me pause to think, okay, like, what is going on here? Is there something different we can be doing?
And we lost you for like 15 seconds. The last thing you said.
Yeah, I think my connection here is a bit unstable.
You were talking about, the last thing I heard was pushing out deals between July and August. And
oh yeah, so like 30 deals pushed out, and sold nothing in July and maybe one in August. Like, buyers just completely stopped buying. But with that consistency, people see that we're still getting deals, we're still marketing deals, and that has led to an influx of referrals just coming in now through like Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. So I think that we're not really doing anything different. We're just trying to be as consistent as possible, have a very structured process. And I think that's leading us to actually getting more leads now that are better quality than what we were getting, 6 months ago. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, do you just put things on pause, or do you try something different? If what you were doing wasn't working, but it's, what we're finding right now is we're doing even more outreach to try to find deals than we were previously doing, and even more outreach now to try to find buyers that are still buying than we were previously doing. Because, 8 months ago, 12 months ago, you could just do an email blast and a Facebook post and you get like 25 offers on your deals, right? And now we're seeing deals where we're getting multiple offers, but a lot of times they're so low, that the prices don't work. So it's definitely focusing a lot more, not only on sourcing the deals, but actually drilling in and trying to find those buyers that are still like actively buying stuff right now. So basically it comes down to like consistency, and basically also doing more of what we were doing to try to find some more deals. So
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, I see you actually made it. I'm not sure why it was asking you for a passcode, but nobody else. So, Elena, tell us a little bit about this seller and kind of what the story is behind this current deal that you're working on right now.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
So, well, first my Comcast went out, so I had to do this on my phone, and my phone, and the Zoom app on my phone is doing safe driving mode, so it won't let me turn on my video, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's why I can't turn on my video. Otherwise, I really would like to interact via video.
Hey, regardless of all those obstacles, you're here.
Yeah,
showing up.
You're still here.
Thank you. So, right now, as Rob, as I mentioned to you before, I hired a virtual assistant, and so we've got a lot of leads, but no, we haven't been able to close a single deal yet. And this particular deal that I was hoping to get, because the house is vacant, and they would like to sell the property, but they don't want to give me their offer. They want me to give them the offer so they can either, and so I've seen a lot of that happening where after we give them the offer, they're like, no way, that's my house is worth way more than that. And so it's difficult, even when, we talk about, well, they try to upsell their house like this. I had another lead in which she was saying, well, this is a custom, and so it's worth 200,000 more than what it says on anywhere, on Redfin or Zillow or anything like that.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
hard to, yeah, it's difficult to
Argue.
convince, to show them it's like, look. So I don't know
Yeah.
if you have any tips or advice.
Well, so the thing is, you want to be dealing with people that, and I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, that need to sell, right? Not the people that want to sell if they can kind of get the right price. Like, you want to be dealing with people that are super motivated because, you're busy, you got a VA that's hitting up people, they're probably super busy. And so you don't want to waste your time on people that are just kind of like kicking the tires from the sell side of things.
Okay.
So I guess the question is, what are these people's motivation? Why are these sellers motivated? Why are they motivated to sell? Do you know?
This particular, this particular deal, it's his friend passed away, and it's his friend's house, but it needs a lot of work, and he doesn't have like the means to work on it, to fix it up and get it sold. So he wants to sell it, but he thinks it's a much higher than it's worth, even with all. And I estimated about $60K worth of rehab costs, and he's still looking for some a price that's closer to market value. And like that, I can't. That's not something we can do. Right. It's not. Yeah. So usually for those deals, we tell them, well, sell your house in the MLS and see what happens, and we'll just flag, put a tab in it, and then come back. We'll contact them in a few months to see if their house is sold or not.
Right. Yeah. So does this person, though, who actually owns the house now at this point then? Because this is a friend of the person that owned it.
Yes.
So does he legally even have the right to sell this house?
I believe so. Yeah, I think he got it, he inherited it from his friend.
Okay. So yeah. So and if he doesn't want to give you any sort of number on where he needs to be in order to sell it, he just thinks it's worth market price, even though it needs work and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, probably what I would do to approach is like I said, I would so sellers that don't want to give me a number. First of all, I'd figure out, where does this need to be in order to work as a wholesale deal, right? So do you have an estimate on what you think the ARV is on it?
Yes.
Okay. And what's that at?
Give me 1 second. I can tell you right now. It is 261,500.
Okay, so 260 is ARV. What city is it in?
Clarkston, Washington.
Okay, so it's on the other side of the state.
Yeah.
Okay, so 260 ARV. So, and probably the buyers list over in Clarkston is not going, your pool of buyers that you're working with in Clarkston are not going to be like that big, right? Because Clarkston is not a very big area. So there's probably not a ton of people there doing so it's going to be a bit more difficult to sell, which means you're going to have to get it at an even bigger discount to the ARV. So what we've been seeing is deals selling for like 60% of ARV or so, 55% of ARV, meaning you'd need to get it, or you could sell it to a cash buyer, maybe, in the low 100s. What were you thinking as far as an offer price?
109.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you could maybe mark it up to 120, maybe push 130 on it.
Oh, okay.
When you put it out there as a wholesale price, right? So if you're able to actually lock it up like at 110, you might be able to wholesale it maybe for 121, 130. So that's good. And he's thinking like 250-ish is like the actual price that he's probably wanting based on what you're saying.
Yes.
to retail.
240, yeah, 240, 250,
Okay.
around what it says in the, but in Zillow and Redfin, but of course it doesn't account, Zillow and Redfin don't account for all the work that needs to be done on it.
Yeah, and even if they did, Zillow and Redfin are they're just hugely inaccurate. Like there is a reason that Zillow lost hundreds of millions of dollars trying to flip houses. It's because their estimates suck. You know, they're just a very, very loose approximation. There's a joke that says the A in Zillow stands for accuracy. And so I try to educate sellers that, you know, those numbers don't mean anything really. So, but they see that and they think, oh, well, if Zillow says that's what it's worth, that's what it's worth. So I would probably do this if it were me. First of all, I'd ask, why aren't you just listing this property? If you want to get market price, you're gonna get the best price by putting it on the market.
Yes.
You know, that would be the first thing, because that's an objection then you overcome right away, because they might just say, because you got to determine, is price the most important thing to them, or is it time and ease of transaction? So if it's price and they don't care how long it takes to sell, how many people go through it, you know, how many inspections end up falling through or buyers backing out because, you know, they don't like something they see in there, then they should just list it on the MLS and deal with all that. They'll get a higher price in the end. But then you got the sellers who price isn't the most important thing. It's they just want this thing gone. They don't want to deal with agents. They don't want to deal with people locking it up and then having an inspection period, and then, you know, having it fall out of contract and having to go back on the market and all that stuff. So if it's in that category, then they're a better candidate. So it would be good to determine, does he have any sort of timeline or deadline he's working against on this?
Okay.
If he's not, then I would steer them to the MLS route. If like, yeah, I'm willing to wait 6 months to get my price because I know it's worth this much, and I don't care how many people have to go through there and all that, the trouble and all that stuff. I would say, yeah, you're better off just listing it on the MLS then, because you're going to be able to get a better price than I'm offering. But if you want to just be able to sell it quickly and be done with it, here's what we would be able to pay. So the problem though is if he's like, yeah, I hate realtors, you know, that's like a big reason for people saying that they don't want to list their property. I hate realtors. I don't want to pay commissions and all this other stuff. Then you have a shot, right? But it's a matter of getting the price to a place where it works. And given that you need to be at 110 on it, and he's at, you need to be at 110. His head is like at 250 or whatever, right? You can't start at 110, that means, right? Because he's might come down a little bit on price, and then you've got no more room to go up because you're already at your max. So that's why I was saying you need to see if you can find some low comps to anchor his expectations way lower than 110. And you don't even have to put that offer out there. You just have to throw that number out there, that low number out there. So he just has in his head that 250 is not even in the realm of possibility. So you could say, hey, like I saw this comp. It was a major fixer. You know, yours is in better shape, but still it sold for 60K or something like that, just so he has that 60K in his head. And so when you come out with an offer of like 100, that 60K, that 100 doesn't sound as bad as it otherwise would have, right? So
got it. Okay.
So that when a seller isn't willing to give me a number at all, I will just try to go find really, really, really low comps just to anchor their expectations super low. And that way, when I give them an offer, it doesn't sound as bad as the number I just told them, even though that number wasn't even my offer. I could just say, oh, this house sold down the street for 60K or something like that. Whatever you have, whatever you can find around there that's sold for super cheap
Okay.
is usable when you're talking to them. So, and then if yeah, and then if they're just like, no, we're gonna list it. Yeah, we're gonna wait to get our price. We know we can get it. I'd be like, okay, cool. Then just check in with them in like 3 or 4 weeks and just say, hey, just wanted to call and see how it's going. You know, did you guys get your property on the market? Do you have anything change in your circumstances or anything like that? You know, and this is kind of like what Izzy was saying, you know, like the fortune is in the follow-up, because right now maybe he, you know, after maybe talking to some agents or something, or having some other buyers go through there and be like, yeah, there's no way you're getting 250 for this, you know, then maybe reality sets in, or maybe he just needs something happens and he needs the money sooner rather than later. And if you're ready to go at 110, you know, especially if he inherited this house.
He did, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, this might be just free money for him. So taking 110 now versus, you know, letting it sit on the market for months might be an alternative after he's like talked to some other people. So.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. So good luck. Let me know how it turns out.
Okay.
So we got Jake jump on. Cecilia's here. Jason was able to make it. Any luck, Cecilia, with getting any on or multifamily?
Not yet. Still, you know, kind of similar to what everyone else has been talking about. Haven't really, yeah, the seller expectations just still kind of seem high. And I've been doing like some cold calls and door knocking, and I was talking to similar situation to what Elena was talking about, with someone who inherited a vacant lot, and they kind of just want to get the most amount of money for it, so they're planning to list. So it's kind of helpful to hear like how you would approach that. I think I'll definitely just kind of go through those steps and follow up with them. I mean, they've still got to get through probate, so they're like 2 to 4 months out on that. So just planning to follow up in the meantime every few weeks or so.
Yeah.
I believe you can get a house even though they're going through probate. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I think that can you do that up here? I believe that you can if you bring it to the court and there's already a personal representative for the state. You don't have to wait for probate to close to get the house sold. You just need to bring it to the court, and you can do that whenever. So you can put your deal in place right now and just take it to the court. You don't have to wait for probate to close.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Just as long as there's a personal representative established in the court for the property, you can bring a deal. Like if you're talking to whoever the personal representative is, or the person that inherited it, it should be the personal representative. You can bring that deal and have it structured, and whatever shakes on the court's gonna shake on the court, but you can get the deal done.
Oh, okay.
You just need to bring it to the court and bring it on calendar. That's all you got to do.
Okay. So I could still, even though they haven't gotten like, the person I'm talking to like hasn't gotten the title transferred, I could still.
If the title's already going into transfer, then that's just paperwork semantics. I believe that you can still bring you can still bring the deal to the court and have it executed. It may be kind of in limbo till, the funds will kind of be in limbo till it's dispersed maybe, but you can still bring it and get it done.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. I'll definitely look into that.
So anything look promising at all at this point, or as far as anybody you talked to since last time?
Not really. Yeah, I think I mentioned last time I was looking a little bit at a duplex in Spokane, that like an agent had, and I was trying to get an appointment to see it because it looked like it needed quite a bit of work, but I guess they got an offer, so I'm not sure. Just kind of another one that I'll probably follow up on because it sounded like an investor put an offer in and hasn't seen the interior either. So I'm not sure if that will pan out. But yeah, just trying to play the long game, like you guys are saying, and make sure I'm following up on these.
Yeah, for sure. If yeah, but you have a way of tracking like who you talk to and when you talk to them. Yeah, just the key would be just ping them periodically and see how it's going. Because yeah, if you're the one in their ear and when they decide that they're ready to sell it at, you know, a price that actually makes sense, you know, they'd be more likely to either give you a call or be open to an offer from you if you were to reach back out to them. So yeah, I've had a number of those deals where I was pinging this guy. This was actually my first wholesale deal. It was a Facebook lead that I had come in. The guy was too high on his price. I had kind of steered him to the MLS thing, and I thought he was going to list his property. And because he was just wanting too much for it. And then 3 weeks later, he just called me and was like, yeah, let's just get this done. And so, yeah, it's just a matter of following up with those leads. So Antonio here on Facebook Live is asking everybody how is everybody going about sourcing their leads. I think we probably have a pretty wide array of lead generation that different people are doing. Elena, I'm actually kind of curious to hear how you're going about building your lists for your cold callers to hit.
Building the list for cold callers.
Yeah. Like what sort of motivated indicators are you using or trying to use to figure out who to call?
We're getting a list from, I can't remember off the top of my head because my VA does a lot of the work.
Okay, so you got your VA pulling the list.
Yeah, she's the one pulling the list and doing the cold calling and sending out text messages. So we have, like I mentioned before, I have a pretty good number of leads. It's just nothing has converted over to a deal yet.
Yeah. How many? And then, so do you have your VA kind of doing? Yes, so you have your VA doing the initial screening, I'm assuming, to kind of find out if they actually want to sell or not. And then do you follow up with them if they say they're interested in selling, or do you follow up with them when they say they're like ready to actually sell?
I'll follow up when they're actually ready to sell.
Okay.
I wonder if I should I get more involved in the process after the screening? Because a lot of them, after they hear an offer, they kind of just back off. So
does the VA give them an offer, or do you give them an offer once you talk to them?
She talks to them, and if they're looking to ask for an offer and they don't want to give one up front, we run the numbers in the background, and then she asks for me to give it to her, so she offers it to them.
Okay. Yeah, no, I would not get involved sooner. I think your time is more valuable spending people that are saying that they need to sell, right? So that was one of the questions that when I was doing cold calling or had a VA doing cold calling is they'd qualify the lead by saying, how soon are you looking to sell? If it was like within the next 30 days, then yeah, I would then want to talk to that person. And if they wanted an offer like ASAP, but if they were saying they were looking to sell 3 months out or 6 months out, and they still wanted an offer though, just to see what their house was worth or whatever, because people would just call because they just wanted to see, what their place was worth. I wouldn't waste time with those people. I would just have the VA follow up with them every month and just see if they had anything change. But I personally wouldn't get involved until you've got like an actual like hot lead who's actually ready to sell.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I personally, as far as sourcing my leads, I had a cold caller for a while, but now it's a lot of agent outreach and looking for deals through other wholesalers and other investors who have deals. So it's mostly I'm just doing a lot of networking to try to source my leads and then find deals that way. So so my latest one is I've got a fourplex in Georgia, actually just outside Atlanta, that I locked up I just came across it on Facebook. It was a wholesaler / investor who got this thing locked up. Didn't want to close it on it themselves because they specialize in doing properties with ADUs or DADUs on it. So they just wanted to wholesale it, and so I connected with him on Facebook. I found a number of deals on Facebook. Actually, it's kind of crazy. Even on Facebook Marketplace, I bought a vacant lot in Oklahoma City. Well, it wasn't vacant; it was like a tear down on there, and I just offered to buy it like right there. And the guy was like, "Oh no, do you want to see it first? You should go take a look at it." And I knew the area that it was in, and I was like, "No, I'll take it. Send me the purchase and sale agreement." He was asking like $12,000 for it, and so got it locked up. And then I just turned around and put it right back on Facebook Marketplace for $25,000, and it sold in a week. So I've got a number of deals off of Facebook Marketplace. So that's actually another good place to like just look for stuff, because you just don't know what you're going to find. Craigslist also is another good place. I've got like a search set up, just searching for like, well, I'm searching for deals from other wholesalers too on Craigslist. So I have a search set up that's looking for terms like ARV or wholesale or cash offer, things like that. So I can see when other wholesalers are posting deals there, but every once in a while you'll get a direct to seller deal where a seller will post directly to Craigslist, and so that's another good source as well.
I had a question for Celia, actually.
Go ahead.
Did you get your CRM sorted out? I know you guys are talking about reaching out and stuff like that. Well, we were talking about that last week, so I just wonder if you got your CRM situations figured out yet. So
yeah, thanks for asking. So I'm still just using Deal Machine, but I looked at like how it looks like it'll work for like kind of the volume we're doing right now, because you can sort your leads by like the date that you last updated it. So like when I reach out, I put like a note. So I think I'm starting with that, and I'll see how that goes with like the volume we're doing. Yeah, I'm gonna try that out first, and then on the agents, because I have started some agent outreach, I'm just tracking that on like a spreadsheet right now. But I only
so then you're still separate then.
Oh yeah, I haven't like done any integration. Yeah, I'm not like tech savvy, so
it's really, really simple. Usually wherever you go, especially just putting in a contact, it's really just a name and a phone number, and then it'll do the rest for you. It's really just find something that you can easily navigate, and that cost effective. I don't know what your budgets are for that, but there's out there. If you want to just message me or something, and I could point you in a couple of different directions or ones I personally used.
Yeah. I think I took some notes from what you were saying last time. So,
and I could point you in a couple of different directions or ones I personally used.
Yeah. I think I took some notes from what you were saying last time. So, yeah.
We're getting an echo there, somebody.
Yeah, that's me. Sorry about that.
Gotcha. I guess what I'm doing for outreach and getting leads is JVing and networking as well. That seems kind of the way. I kind of stopped my own campaign just to more or less focus on that.
Yeah, so there's definitely a trade-off between doing JV deals, and JV basically means, you're partnering with another wholesaler or an agent on a deal, right? Versus going directly to seller. The benefits are that you're not running your own marketing, so you're saving, quite a bit on that. And then potentially you're able to get eyeballs on a lot of different deals that are coming in, depending on how well you are at networking. The downsides are that you typically don't control a contract, right? So you're working with somebody else who has it under contract. So you're at their mercy as to getting information from them about the deal, getting access to the property, and then the terms of the deal itself. And then you're splitting the assignment fee if you're wholesaling it, right? So
yeah, I'd say like if you're doing both remote, then it's harder. But if you're doing it and they're calling in your backyard, then you got to use your own title company. That's a way to protect yourself as well. Like I have several different title companies that I use, but that's what I do to protect myself. And I have a lockbox for the properties. So those are other things you could do to kind of protect yourself as well.
yeah, but the issues that I've seen are like
Might just be the information.
getting the information out of wholesalers, because they're not always on top of things. And if the property is occupied, getting access isn't always, you can't just throw a lockbox on there. So you have to coordinate with the wholesaler, who may or may not be very responsive. I've seen a lot of deals where I wonder, does this wholesaler actually want to sell this thing or not? Because I've got people that are lined up wanting to look at it, and I can't get a freaking answer from them about like getting people through there, or closing date, or some simple stuff like that. So it's frustrating sometimes when you control the deal, like from the time you get it under contract, though, like then you don't have to worry about managing this. Plus, it adds another layer of communication, and this is where things kind of get hung up, is like the buyer's asking questions, and then you're kind of this middleman having to relay everything to the wholesaler that's got it under contract. So that's the other that's
where I'm at with you, and because the conversation we had a little bit later on last week, and I'm still waiting for the information.
Which one was that one?
The first homish.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna.
Exactly. This is exactly what we're talking about. Information.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I got another deal right now where, and this makes it freaking hard to sell deals, because it's like in this market, especially, you want to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
For somebody to buy a deal, right? You don't want to put any obstacles in the way of a buyer saying yes to locking a deal up. And we got a deal, we put it out there. There was a huge amount of excitement about it because it was at a really good price. It's cash flowing. And so we got a ton of inquiries, a ton of people that want to see it. And now it's just sitting there because we can't get anybody in there, because I can't get access to it. And because the wholesaler's being unresponsive, or the seller's being unresponsive. And so all this initial kind of fanfare that was created when we blasted out is kind of just fizzling away now. And by the time we do get people through it, it's been sitting there for 2 weeks. Now the buyers are going to be wondering, well, why hasn't this sold yet? Right? It's been sitting here for 2 weeks. It looked like such a good deal when it was initially sent out, and nobody's locked it up yet. So something must be going on that I'm not seeing.
Yeah, it changes perception in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So now working with these wholesalers, I'm trying to make sure like we got everything kind of nailed down before we send this out to the buyers list, because the other thing is a buyer might see another deal now, because there's so many deals out there where they're just like, oh, I found something.
Lost your window.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock that one up instead. So, so Lisa's asking, what does the job entail for a VA for you guys? So I think everybody's kind of using VAs for different purposes. Do you have a VA, Cecilia, or are you doing everything yourself?
Yeah, I had thought about it and was looking into a couple VA companies, but yeah, I think I just heard mixed reviews, and I think I need to at this point learn to talk to sellers on my own anyway. So yeah, just doing everything myself right now.
Yeah, there's a number of different roles a VA can play. Elaine, do you just have one VA for cold calling? Do you have any other VAs?
I just have the one VA for the cold calling and the pre-qualifications and running the lists, like skip tracing and all of that. So yeah.
Okay. And then Jason, are you using any VAs?
I do with another partner. I did for myself, but I got scammed, man, and I think I told you this, I had to like reach out to the CEO on LinkedIn and get my money back.
What happened here?
So I was with a company called Get Callers. Their thing is like, the $5 VAs. So you get 2 VAs for $5. You get a manager and you get the more person doing it.
Okay.
I had a team of 10, 15, right around there. No, I had a group. I had a group of 10. So no, they started out doing like 130, 140 calls a day, and it just slowly trickles down. And then the dead time, because they give you a spread, they give you a data form of spread time, and you'll see on the dead time. Dead time is really just both receivers are on, and it's just like you're holding on after a voicemail. So I was just being milked for dead time when I'm looking in the back end of what I'm being charged for, because I'm looking at my calls and my deals aren't coming through anymore like they used to. This is across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking there. There's 30 calls made, and then there's 8 hours of dead time.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, and this isn't just for one person. It's not just one day. No, this is consistently. No, you're not going to rob me. I'm paying you guys 2 bands a week. Paying you guys 10 to 5, no, the $8,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing this like at all. And so I reached out to the CEO on LinkedIn and like, yo, you guys are scamming me. I want my money. And yeah, then he fully refunded me, and he refunded me and gave me more. And then they actually have the nerve to ask me to come back. They're like, no, we're not doing all that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think
were they just doing cold calling?
They were doing cold calling, training them for the acquisition side, and then I was going to do the dispo.
Okay.
Or, depending kind of, what you were talking with Elena about, getting them when they're more or less, immediately to 30 days out, because I think that's a better conversation to have with somebody that's a little more fluent. And even with cold callers, it's most of them are from the PI, the ones that people I know that use. English is the hardest language just because the nuances in the slang and the double and triple entendres or synonyms of words. And just understand, you can speak something without understanding it. And you're going to find that a lot with that. And there's going to be disconnect in a phone call. It's just like when you call somewhere about your own services, you're calling AT&T and you're getting routed to, Pakistan or something, you're getting routed to India or Manila. There's the cadence is different, and it's very off-putting sometimes. So I did my best to train them that way. But you just can't spend no time with them. So it's hard. Yeah. I would say like the closest would be, something in Mexico. If I do get more VAs that I will be paying for out of pocket myself, they'll probably come from Mexico, because I think that'd be the closest in terms of English language, because they'll understand the nuances of that.
Yeah. So Lisa's asking, or saying she used to cold call for a real estate agent based off leads that he would send to her. How could I go about getting into that? So what are you wanting to do exactly, Lisa? Are you wanting to cold call for somebody that's looking like a wholesaler here that's looking for off-market deals, or and help them out on the acquisition side? Or are you saying for yourself that you'd like to go about getting a list to hit up to try to get some properties locked up yourself?
If she wants to partner up, we can go 40, we can go 60-40. I got a list. Always doesn't hurt to have more eyeballs, man.
Yeah, well, Maybe you wanna connect with Jason, so she's looking to make some money in her downtime. She manages her flips right now. So yeah, I don't know. Are you looking for some acquisitions help, Jason?
Always been. The more help, the better.
Okay. I will, so Lisa, I'll connect you with Jason after the call here. So, and maybe you guys can partner up and hit up some lists of motivated sellers. What sort of lists are you pulling, Jason?
So the list I actually had in mind for this, the list I'm pulling right now, I usually get mine from a title company, but I'm starting my own skip tracing service. So
Oh,
I've been
awesome.
more focused on that, which is cheaper, more info than most people are going to get you. So I've been focusing on that, getting off the ground with a partner. So that's kind of where my focus has been. Sit down. But when I do pull list, it's really I kind of switched to multifamily because if it's gonna be the same amount of money, I'd rather just do that. Just cash flow is better, just getting to the whole cash flow. I guess my whole mindset switched from being a wholesaler to kind of creative and getting into cash flow. I think that's usually just a natural progression in anything, just like, when you started, you were doing wholesaling, you turned to an investor. And I think that's where my hat's starting to change.
Yeah, so she said she speaks English.
Naturalized or not? Like you've been in the States, Lisa. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, but in terms of the list, I try to, compound my list as best I can. But I usually just get mine from a title company and then just skip it, just for whatever metrics.
Right. Yeah. So and then for me, so my VAs, I got a few VAs, and they do all sorts of stuff for me. I have a couple of them running pretty much most of my social media stuff. So any of the deals that get posted on Facebook, posting the deals in all the groups, and then taking all those inquiries that come in from those Facebook posts, putting them into Podio, and then I have a dispo manager that's remote that will hit those people up directly via phone if we have their phone number, and follow up with them on the deals. And I have them send the email blast. So I have them put together the email blast for the deals. So they'll put together the message body, the subject, put it into Podio, and then the email can automatically get sent out from Podio. And then they'll handle any inquiries that come in via the and they also post it to InvestorLift, which is the website that we post all our deals to. So any inquiries that come in through the email or the InvestorLift website, we'll have them go and enter that information into our CRM as well. So I have them doing quite a few different tasks for me, which helps me out a lot as far as freeing up my time to be able to do other things. So
Rob, this is Elena.
Hey.
I had a quick question. You said that the VAs put the emails together, for the email blast into Podio, and then Podio automatically puts it out there. My question is, how do they put together that actual email with the pictures and all of that? I can't do anything like that. So I don't think my VA can either. Is it like using Adobe or anything like that? Do you happen to know?
So I'm using InvestorLift to, and I don't know, are you familiar with InvestorLift?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so InvestorLift's kind of like this dispo platform, which it's a website, but then it also has a way to create the email and the content for that email. And we don't use it to actually blast the email out. We use another tool, but we use it to actually just to build the email. So I had like a template that I initially had set up, and I said, hey, like make it look like this, right? So they'll go through, they'll change the description, they'll change the price, the ARV, bed bath count, square footage, price, all that stuff. And then once that's all set up, then they'll go into Podio and say, okay, this is good to go, hit a button, and it sends it out to our email system to send it out. So what I do for anything that I'm not going to do myself, but I'm going to delegate it out, I will record a video on Loom, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's basically a screen recording software that has a browser plugin, and then it can have like a little video of yourself, your face in there as you're doing the demo. It's kind of like for doing demos. And so what I'll do is I'll put together a video, say, here's how to put together an email blast, right? And walk through the entire thing, and then upload it to Loom, and then they can watch it to see how to do it. So anything I want them to do, I'll create a video for it and then upload it so they can watch it. And then I'll have my acquisitions manager go through and just verify the details on the email just to make sure everything looks okay, because sometimes there's typos or price isn't correct, or or things need to be changed because it just doesn't sound quite right. So I'll have my acquisition manager just kind of go through and make sure everything looks good. But I think the key will be, if you're going to have a VA do something like an email blast, would be the training. Just put something together that explains exactly how to do it, have them do it, and then kind of review the work once it's complete. And then hopefully once they've done it enough times, they'll get to a point where you're comfortable enough with having to, do it with minimal supervision for them. That makes sense.
Got it. Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Lisa's saying she loves some desktop instructions. That's smart. So everything looks the same. Yeah, so kind of like creating standard operating procedures, right? For a while, I was like trying to do this with screenshots and like a Word doc and explaining it and stuff. And then somebody showed me Loom, and I was like, wow, this is just so much easier just to make a video of this. It takes way less time to do. And then we have all our videos organized by what exactly it is. So like we have acquisitions, dispositions, and then in dispositions, there's things like, doing email blasts or creating contracts with, DocuSign or, whatever else. So we can categorize all of our videos by what exactly the tasks are. And so that task might have multiple videos depending on, what it is or how many variations of it there are. And of course, it doesn't get you 100% of the way to explaining all sorts of exceptions to whatever task it is. But if you can explain 80% of it to them, because the thing is too, if you have another VA come in at some point or somebody else that's you're going to be onboarding and want to train on a task, if you've already created a video for it, then you're not going to have to like sit down again with this new person and go through that whole process again. If like I said, if you can get them 80% of the way there to doing that task just by watching videos, then you're going to save yourself a ton of time as you onboard new people. So I would highly recommend.
No, wait till you're done. Sorry.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I don't know if anybody here's paid for training or mentorship, and maybe what that cost was.
Yeah, I'm a part of multiple mentorship groups, actually. So I'm part of.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
When you were just starting out, like just fresh, did you pay for anything?
Yeah, I paid for mentorship. So Jamil Damji's group, Astro Flipping.
Yeah.
I joined that so I was an investor first, actually, before I became a wholesaler. So I kind of went backwards from what most people do.
Gotcha.
I got into wholesaling because I wanted to find my own deals and then wholesale the ones I didn't want to keep. And I saw what wholesalers were making on deals that I was buying from them. And I was like, I need to start finding my own stuff because these wholesalers are making a ton of money. And they were still deals to me at whatever price I bought them for, right? But I was like I got 2 duplexes in Tacoma for $340K total. And that wholesaler got them under contract for 300, right? And I had another duplex I bought in Tacoma for 125, and that wholesaler got it under contract for like 75. So
Ooh,
I saw
you put that juice on.
yeah, that's crazy, right? 75K for a duplex in Tacoma. Granted, this was way back in 2016.
Got you.
So, but still 75K for a duplex. So anyway, I got into it then, and I tried some direct mail myself, and I was like, wow, this is really time consuming, having to call people back, go visit properties. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I'm willing to pay somebody to get me further along than, and somebody that's actually doing this like as their job. I'm willing to pay, to get that knowledge and kind of speed me up in that process. So I joined Jamil Damji's group, and it was like $6,000.
Got you. Do you feel that helped you quite a bit?
Oh yeah, like I have 20x'd that investment easily, probably
Got
more.
you.
Yeah, that was like the best. And I don't know, maybe Jamil's program wasn't the best one.
Yeah.
Just the fact I think I did something
with it.
So the keys are first finding like a mentor that you resonate with, right? And then the second is actually taking action. Like if they have a recipe for doing something, like taking what they're saying to do and then follow that, right? That's the other key, because I'm still a part of that mentorship group, and now there's like probably 5,000 plus people in there, and it's crazy how many people join, and they'll spend the money and then they just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, so just because you join a mentorship, isn't like automatically mean you're going to start like closing on all these deals, right? So I had something going on. I don't want to talk too much about it, but let's say that like you paid $6,000 for this mentorship. Mm-hmm.
Let's say you were brand new. You're on the forums. You're like, oh man, I want to get wholesaling, but everything's $4, $6, $10,000 to get into. Mm-hmm. What if you had a mentorship course where you're guaranteed a deal, and the only thing you need to do is buy skip tracing, and they'll walk you through the deal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what is so if you just had to buy skip tracing, it seems like a pretty low barrier to entry. Oh, Lisa's saying here, I'm about to convert from investor to wholesaler.
I was going to ask about how now being on both sides, because most people start from no investment to wholesaling to, becoming an investor. You started out as an investor and worked backwards. How has that been for you?
I think it's been actually really good. I'm surprised more investors don't do this actually. So like a lot of investors will rely on like one agent to work with who goes out and finds them their deals, or they'll just find deals themselves from wholesalers. Why aren't more investors like actively trying to find deals for themselves?
I think that you kind of answered that already, because they had to get the money for the investment anyway, so they had to spend more time getting the money to become an investor than looking for deals, I guess.
Right.
Through the wholesaler way instead of the investor way.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of boils down just to maybe time management or just
Yeah.
So
or
time that you spent.
People they have day jobs and they just want to, they're willing to pay a premium. I mean, because wholesalers, they earn their money. Like, so this guy that I bought the duplexes from, right? I mean, how many hours and how many thousands of dollars do they have to spend in marketing to find those deals in the first place, right? So and those deals, those duplexes were a deal at 340 to me still, right? So the wholesaler made 40K, but it was still a deal to me at 340. So
you saw those properties?
They paid 40K for the service for somebody to find something for me. That was a pretty awesome deal, right? So So somebody that doesn't have the time or works a full-time job or whatever, I guess they might not be in a position where they have the time to invest in figuring out how to do that the right way. So they're actually able to find their own deals, right? So yeah. So, but keep us posted on what you're thinking for your course or skip tracing kind of combination.
Well, I'll keep you up to date with skip tracing. Yeah. So just reaching out to the people I need to reach out to, and then getting that all done. So that's when done. Site's already done already. So
awesome. Yeah, I'm going to be doing my own mentorship. I don't know if I call it a program or not, but at least a group. And so I'll probably be, my Facebook page and profile and everything's going to be updated within the next week or so. So people will see some changes to that.
Big
So,
Rob.
yeah. So, all right, cool. It is lunchtime. So Elena, good luck with your seller this week. Hopefully, if they're motivated enough, you might be able to get it locked up.
Thank you so much.
And then Jason, I'll connect you with Lisa here on
Yeah.
Facebook, and you guys can see if you can maybe work something out with doing some cold calling and hitting up some sellers.
Let's get it.
Cool. All right, guys, have a good rest of your week. See you next time.
Awesome. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you.